Hello, uh, my name is Vivian Booker Smith, and I am uh, presenting discussion post number 2 uh, about applied behavioral theory. Okay, and my first question is, how would you describe the behavioral patterns that characterize your interactions with others in each of your major systems? Specifically, are these connections reinforcing, punishing? Specifically, are these functions reinforcing, punishing, modeling desired behaviors, or modeling undesired behaviors? Well, I have several major systems. I'm going to talk about family and work. For my family, um, are these connections reinforcing? Yes. Um, as the matriarch of my family, my children are college age students, and um, so I can't handle them the way you would small children. Um, I reinforce by reminding them of the qualities that we've tried to instill in them as they grew up. Qualities such as honesty, having integrity. Uh, well, I remind them of being honest, of exemplifying being an honest person by being honest and upfront with them, uh, by having integrity, uh, in them seeing how I interact and do business, even if it means me losing, having a word, sharing, especially with other family members who are in need and sometimes not in need, or and strangers. Also, helping others and being open minded, especially with people who are not in your same group, or they don't share your same beliefs or culture. And I reinforce that by showing them, allowing them to see me modeling. And that's also with the next thing, modeling behavior, modeling desired behavior. They see me do the same thing. So they see me exemplify things that I'm asking them to do. Um, in modeling desired behaviors, I want them to finish college. I did not finish college, so I've come back at 54, and I'm now in college. Two of the three children are juniors. I'm a junior, and my hope is we don't all graduate at this on the same date. One of the three will be graduating in the spring. I also model desired behaviors by I don't want them to drink or smoke. We didn't do that in the house, so I model that by not drinking and smoking. And I go to church, and they grew up going to church, and I encourage them to do so now, and I continue to model that by doing it myself. So I have modeled undesired behaviors. Although I'm quiet by nature, fussing and yelling, I can still do. Um, Punishing, I do model punishing, although it's in a different way because they're not small children. Um, you don't discipline the same way. I find disciplinary actions for them now is because they're in three different states. If they're wanting something from me and we have come to an agreement and they've not fulfilled their part of the agreement, or if I don't necessarily feel compelled to do it because I'm in disagreement with it, what their decision is, I will probably withhold what they're asking me for. Um, Let me open it up a little bit more. To extended friends, I do a lot of the same, except um, I don't necessarily model undesired behavior unless we're really close and they're able to see some behavior that's not really that good that I'm doing, and they tell me about it, and vice versa. but our relationship has to be a lot closer than just associates. We really have to be friends. There is no punishing phase in that. If it has come to a punishing phase with the friends, it will probably result in we will no longer be friends. Um, as far as work goes, reinforcing, uh, that's a that's a line that I walk because I am an employee and I'm a student, and I have access that most students won't have concerning other students. There's a fine line that I walk, and I have to make sure that those lines don't get blurred. Um, I have to reinforce the rules, the UHD rules pertaining to students. And then I have to also follow UHD rules pertaining to employees. And I can't blur those lines. I see information about students uh, when I'm in the class and I am the student. We can't discuss what I see. We can't discuss what I see when I'm an employee. Um, so I have to follow those rules. I have to model desired behavior. Uh, as an employee, I have to be on time. I volunteer as an employee and as a student. Um, and I'm a team player. Something has to be done. Someone can't do it. If I can fill in, I do that. Um, Modeling undesired behaviors in the workplace, really don't do that because if you do that on a continuous basis, I understand some things happen, but if you continually do that, probably won't have a job for too long. School, I reinforce desire. I do reinforcement or reinforcing in school, um, finishing what you started. I started school a long time ago. I'm now just now, maybe a year ago, getting back to finish what I began because I desire to fulfill my potential, and I desire that in my family members, and I model that desire. Uh, I model a desired behavior by being in school and fulfilling that, and I do that after work. I have classes online. I have classes. And even during my work hours, I have a release time to go to class. So, just as students do here, I do the same. Number two, how are my uh, behavioral patterns similar or different to those of my family members? Well, I have children who, similarly, we do go to church. So, we share spiritual foundation. That's what's similar. The differences between us is as my children have gone to college and gone off, they've experienced other things. They've, you know, made alliances with other people, and they have developed things that I still don't do. I still don't drink. Some of them are casual drinkers. Nobody smokes still, but they are casual drinkers. Um, I don't text and drive, and I see that they do. Um, I don't speak, and I also see that they do. Number four, uh, I would change those things in number three. Number four, consider my perfect best life. What would my behavioral self change plan look like? Well, for me, I would be free from any stress or strain related to my college age children. Uh, I would not ask them so many questions about what they were doing. Instead, I would just ask them how they are doing and allow them to say as much or as little as they would like. To Whether the conversation was long or short, I'd remind them that if they're ever in need of anything, they can always call me at any time. And I've said that on a continual basis. Also, when being told about their friends, I would refrain from being judgmental and only give my opinion when they ask for it. Um, it's not so hard for me to do because I'm quiet by nature and I don't talk a lot. It would be much harder for someone who's really verbal. Um, but even in being as quiet as I am, I have been known to give my opinion when it was not solicited. So I have to work on that. And last but not least, when one of them calls me, ranting and raving, before I give my comments, I would first ask them, in what capacity am I expected to speak to the man? And what I mean by that is, I would ask them, am I talking in the capacity as a mother and giving you advice? Or am I just listening? Um, or I'm, or I'm, or are they just venting and I'm supposed to be listening, right? So, are they calling me and they're talking to their mother and they want me to give them advice on what to do about a situation? Or have they just called me to get something off their chest? And am I just supposed to listen until they're finished talking or fussing? And that's it. And I've learned to do that. And this asks me about measurable goals and how do ways of knowing that my plan is successful. Well, I measure the goal um, by the number of times they call me, and it has been successful. And I measure the goals with, have they called me back again about another situation, and me having to ask them the question, what capacity am I speaking to you in? And what I see is that it is working. So it is successful. And from that, what I'm seeing is that our relationship is growing. And in that, they're learning to trust me, in that I can separate the two. I can still be mom if you need me to be. And I'm gonna always be mom, but I can actually step back and just let you say what you're going to say, and then say, okay, well, do you feel better? And they say yes, and we go to another subject, and then we get off the phone, and we are both left in a very good place. So uh, that is the end of my post. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye.